And welcome back to episode 96 of the MindCep Podcast. This is your host, Alex Muir, helping you flex your mind, body, and soul. Today's episode 96, we're going to be talking about how to use cold exposure and heat therapy for recovery and resilience. And again, I'm your host, Alex Muir, and today we're going to talk about how to use cold exposure and heat therapy for recovery and resilience. Cold exposure and heat therapy are ancient methods of enhancing physical and mental well-being, but they also have some surprising benefits for metabolic health. In this episode, we'll discuss what these therapies are, how they work, and how you can incorporate them into your daily routine. Let's start with cold therapy, or cold exposure, or making yourself cold to improve health. Cold exposure can boost your energy and focus by increasing the levels of epinephrine or norepinephrine in your brain and body. These are neurochemicals that make you feel alert and motivated. Cold exposure can also activate a special kind of fat called brown fat, which burns calories to generate heat and keep you warm. Brown fat has been linked to improved insulin sensitivity, lower blood sugar, and protection against obesity. How can you practice cold exposure? One way is to take a cold shower or a bath for a few minutes every day, or at least once a week. The colder the water, the shorter the time you need to stay in. You can start with a temperature that makes you think, this is really cold, but I can safely stay in. For some people, that might be 60 degrees Fahrenheit, while for others, it might be 45 degrees Fahrenheit. You can gradually lower the temperature as you get more comfortable with the cold. Another way is to expose yourself to cold air by going outside in winter without a jacket, or by opening a window in your room. The key is to embrace the cold as a challenge, not a threat, and to breathe calmly and deeply. Heat therapy, on the other hand, is making yourself hot to improve health. Heat therapy can relax your muscles and joints, reduce pain and inflammation, and lower stress levels by stimulating the release of endorphins, the natural painkillers of the body. Heat therapy can also improve blood flow and oxygen delivery to your tissues, which can enhance recovery and healing. How can you practice heat therapy? One way is to use a sauna or a steam room for 15 to 30 minutes at least once a week. The optimal temperature range is between 160 degrees Fahrenheit and 180 degrees Fahrenheit, but you can adjust it according to your preference and tolerance. You should drink plenty of water before and after the session, and avoid alcohol or caffeine. Another way is to apply a hot pack or a heating pad to a specific area of your body that is sore or injured for 10 to 20 minutes at a time. You can also use a hot water bottle or a warm towel for this purpose. Both cold exposure and heat therapy have been shown to have positive effects on metabolic health, but they are not magic bullets. They should be used as part of a healthy lifestyle that includes a balanced diet, regular exercise, adequate sleep, and stress management. If you have any medical conditions or concerns, you should consult your doctor before trying these therapies. If you want to learn more about the science and use of cold exposure and heat therapy for health and performance, here are some sources that I recommend. The Science and Use of Cold Exposure for Health and Performance by the Huberman Lab Neural Network newsletter. How do heat and cold therapy affect metabolic health by levels? And Hot and Cold Therapy Benefits Explained by WHO Magazine. Thank you for listening to this episode of the MindCep Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. And don't forget to share it with your friends and family who might benefit from it too. Until next time, stay healthy and happy. Disclaimer. The information I provide to the podcast listeners of MindCep is based on my own research and personal experience. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Not all information is factual or has scientific evidence to support it. I am simply sharing the best information I can find and finding valuable content to help you improve your mental health and well-being. Please consult your doctor or therapist before trying any of the modalities I discussed on this podcast. And this episode is brought to you by RadioGuestList.com, the #1 free radio guest, podcast, and talk show guest expert interview booking service on the internet. This episode is brought to you by podcastguest.com, connecting podcasters with great guests. Podcasters. Find relevant experts and other podcasters to be guests on your podcast. Experts, guests, and more. Get booked on great podcasts to expand your reach and audience. Podcastguest.com connects podcasters with experts, authors, and other podcasters to be guests on their podcasts. Do you love listening to the MindCep Podcast and want to support us? Here's how you can do it. Simply use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. It won't cost you anything extra, but we'll get a small commission from Amazon for every purchase you make. This way, you can help us keep producing high-quality content for you and millions of other listeners. Just click on the link below and start shopping. Thank you for your support. Affiliate disclosure. Using our link for Amazon earns commission, supporting the MindCep Podcast. Our endorsement is based on quality and potential to enhance your well-being. Thank you for your support. The MindCep mission. MindCep's mission is to empower 30+ million listeners worldwide to achieve optimal mental and physical health through engaging podcasts, inspiring positive change for future generations. Dear listeners, I thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the MindCep Podcast. This is your host, Alex Muir, helping you flex your mind, body, and soul. And I just want to start off by saying I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening to this podcast. I appreciate your feedback on my episodes and following the show. And I would like your feedback as well in the form of a short rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Spotify Podcast now has a rating and review section. So I would love your feedback on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, to help me attract great guests and to help me further the show and develop the show and improve the show. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed this episode. And again, you can reach out to me to give additional feedback on my blog. That's alexandermuir.com/blog. You can reach out to me on through my Instagram, through Facebook. All my links are in the show notes. And again, I appreciate you and thank you all for listening. I hope you all enjoyed that special guest series episode brought to you by podcastguest.com and radioguest.com. If you'd like to reach out to me, get to know me, or my guests, you can do so at my blog. That's alexandermuir.com. That's ALEX, Amazon Mike, UIR.com. And then you go under my blog section, and it has all my recent podcast episodes and prior episodes with my guests. And if you'd like to reach out to me on another platform, I'm also on Instagram, Facebook. You can DM me on Facebook or on Instagram. And you can leave a short review if you enjoy the episodes. Leave 5 stars, rate, review, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And I appreciate you all. Thank you all for listening, and see y'all next time.